Well, I'm getting some noise on the background, and I would really request to have the volume on mute. And if there is any questions, please you can unmute and raise your questions. Is that fine?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
Very good. And how about my voice? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Well, let's get into this. And good. Welcome to the SAP Business Objects Training Workshop. And I will be the trainer who will be taking the demo today. A quick introduction about myself. I have around 10 years of experience in SAP Business Objects. And as you can see it on the slide, I have performed various roles on my projects, starting from developer, system analyst, senior consultant, solution specialist, migration and support lead, trainer, and currently I'm an architect in my project. So what this means to you is like this training is going to be a scenario-based training, explaining what kind of scenarios we will be having in our real-time projects, and how do we go on a better practice for each of the challenges what we are going to see, because that is what in real time I am doing here. Before I move to next slide, can I have a quick introduction about yourself, Indra?
Yeah, I'm Indira. Presently, I'm in Germany. Previously, I was working in Bangalore. Around 6+ years of experience in SAP BI. And again, I want to continue my job once I return to India. And as
Okay.
BO is now the advanced than BI in reporting side, I want to know
Yes,
about that.
very good. Okay, thanks for the introduction. So now the agenda for today's demo will be, we'll be quickly seeing what is SAP Business Objects and what is a history of SAP Business Objects and what is data warehouse and where this business objects sits in this data warehousing architecture, and this business objects is containing how many tools, because in general, as we will be seeing in today's demo, business objects contains so many reporting tools, and we have a use case for each of the reporting tool. So we'll be also looking into an higher level, like what is each reporting tool is used for. And finally, we will be also having a quick glance on the course content, and after this training what you'll be getting and what kind of materials you will be receiving, and after this training is completed, what a participant should be expecting. Not as after this demo, I'm saying after the training is completed, what as a participant of this training should be knowing and expecting. So this is what our agenda is, and we have around 45 minutes time in our plate, and let's start in now. Well, let me start with business objects. Basically, I would say like business objects is an enterprise platform or a core platform that has a suite of reporting tools and an ETL tool. And what is the use of this? Basically is this allows from end user perspective, if we are going to see, business objects will be allowing an user to quickly view and analyze the data whatever they have on their organizations. So in short, business objects is going to be a suite of reporting tools and an ETL tool. Is that clear, Indra?
Yeah.
Okay. So now let us quickly go into the next slide, which speaks about a quick history of business objects. As we can see it in the slide, in 1990, business objects launched a product called Skipper, which is 2.0, and this is nowhere in today's market. Then they started with version 3.0, then version 4.0 in 1996. Again, this is not available now. We are speaking about 1996. One first thing what business objects has made a changes in the year 1997. They introduced a product called Webby Thin Client. What this good thing about this is, from 1997, users are allowed to create their reports in the web portal. Are you aware what is a web portal? It is like just as you, for any organization, there will be an intranet, right? So similarly for business objects, there will be an intranet link. So from 1997, that allowed users to create the report on the internet, on the web portal itself, which means that there is no need for the user to have the software installed on his local machine. There is no need for him to have the software installed on the local machine. He can log into the web portal, he can view the report on the web portal, he can create his report on the web portal. That is the first takeover or first change which business objects has introduced. Next big thing that has happened is in the year of 2003, where business objects acquired Crystal Decisions. Crystal Decisions is nothing but Crystal Reports. So there was a separate organization called Crystal Decision where they had a separate reporting tool called Crystal Report. So this has been acquired by business objects in 2003. And followed on the same year, they introduced a newer version called 6, and you can see a word called Enterprise. So the Enterprise version of business objects has come into picture only in 2003. And they introduced one new tool, which is Dashboard Manager. Basically, we will be understanding what is this tool when we go slightly further in this demo. But for now, maybe you can just know that, okay, that there was a tool called Dashboard Manager and Performance Manager that was introduced in 2003. And in today's life, we do not have Performance Manager tool at all. We only have Dashboard and Enterprise. Moving to 2004, the next version came into picture, which is 6.5, and there was one more version upgrade by Crystal Report, which is version 10. And coming to 2005, the next version, which is XIR2. Now, there is one more point to be made here. The difference between 2004 and 2005, till Business Object 6.5, the architecture of business objects was a repository. All the main tables, I believe you might be knowing what is a repository. And what that means is, like, whatever you create, whatever database objects you create, or the reports or the metadata layer, whatever you create in business objects were stored in the repository till Business Object 6.5 in 2004. But from 2005, there was a change in the architecture. Everything is stored as file system. That makes a very big impact in the performance, which gave a good performance, which means that my report will be stored as a file in the file system. And we can see what is this when we go into the architecture. But one thing as a takeaway is, till Business Object 6.5, all the objects are stored in the database. Whatever you name, a report or a universe, whatever you name, that has been stored in the database. But from 2005, they stored all these individual objects like report or universes, whatever you name, as a file system. And from where this technology has been adopted is from Crystal Report, because the architecture of Crystal Report, they use file system of storing objects. So they just found that that is a bit effective. Well, let us move to the very big change that has happened in the year of 2007, which I believe you should be also aware. SAP acquired business objects, and then we went into the next version, which is Business Objects 3.1, which is, if you can see the name, I have prefixed it with SAP because that is a first release of SAP after acquiring business objects. Yeah. If you see 3.1, I wouldn't say they gave some VO, BW integration, but it was just a quick release after SAP has acquired business objects. But the actual good release has happened in 2011, which is Business Object 4.0, where there has been a lot of good integration between BO and BW happen, and also some new naming conventions that they have given. In addition to that, for Universe, they introduced new tools, which we will be seeing in the training, and in the demo also I'll be covering few things. And in 2013, that is this year, now we are in Business Objects 4.1, I believe the latest patch is SP2. So this is how the business objects started, and there were few years where there has been some accusation between different companies, and where SAP came into picture is on 2007, and from there it is going now step by step. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Good.
Your good name is Jagan, right?
Okay, Jagan is the person who is the organizer of this training.
Okay.
My
Okay,
name would
good
be
name.
Avin. Sorry for not saying that on my first introduction. This is Avin.
Okay. Okay, Arvind.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, so let us. So in our second slide, I was saying very simple definition of business objects. It is going to be an enterprise platform that contains a set of reporting tools and an ETL tool that enables an end user to quickly view and analyze the data in a simple way and in an efficient way in a reporting solution. Now let us really get into business object suite and see what it has. Starting with the first important thing when we speak about business object suite, we have a web portal which is BO web portal, where all the reports are placed in. Means from the end user perspective, he can just log into this web portal to access his reports. So that is called BO web portal, and we call it as BI Launchpad from 4.0 release. Before 4.0, this is known as InfoView. It is just a naming convention. But from 4.0, the web portal for BO that allows the users to view or create their reports is BI Launchpad. This is the one which most of them will be frequently using. BI Launchpad, which is a BO web portal, which has been used to view or create or even schedule the reports. Next, we start with ETL. Let me, I'll be also giving you a very eye picture of a data warehousing environment, but because you're coming from a BI background, I am sure like you should be comfortable to a fair extent what happens from the data sourcing till data target. But anyways, as a part of this demo, I'll be also giving an overall overview. Okay. So for ETL, as you know, it is an extraction, transformation, loading. So what does this mean? So let us take my particular organization. So my business will be having their data in different formats in different places. Means I can have my data as an Excel file. I can have a transactional system that is available on my database, and I can have data that is available from a web service. So what this means, from the transactional perspective, from the operational perspective, from the day-to-day run of business perspective, my business runs based on data, and this data is maintained in different formats and in different ways. Now, for this is basically, this data is for operational perspective, but what we are looking is analytical perspective. We are really not bothered about how data is getting populated. We are really bothered about how we can get analytical information from whatever data. So for that, what we have is, we have a tool called BODS that is capable of reading data, different data from different source systems. That is called, we call it as extraction. And next we have a layer called transformation. So I said we have data in different formats. So in one system, my customer number or my PIN code will be like maintained with 5 digits. In another system, it is maintained like 7 digits, prefixing 00 before. So, but I need to make it in a same format. So that is called as cleansing and transformation. And then finally, I need to load all this consolidated data into one database, which we call it as data warehouse or data mart, from where the reporting can happen. So I'll just show you diagrammatically so that you can get it clearly. But for now, you can just understand, like we have BODS, which is an ETL tool. But what I'll do is, let me just go back to an Excel file to put diagrammatically whatever I'm explaining so that then it will be easy for you to understand. So see, this is my operational systems. So I'm running a business, and say I'm running a retail business, or whichever sector we want to, we can take it. And day to day, I do many transactions. A customer comes to my shop, he buys some product, and a particular storekeeper comes to my shop, he just ships in the stocks to my shop. So there can be any number of transactions, and we use computerized billings, whatever it is. End of the day, all this data is stored somewhere in my organization. So this can be a database, or this can be a file system. This can be a file system, flat files, I would say better way to say is flat files, or this can be a database. Just to give two examples. So my operational system is this too. Okay, and this is like transactional system, entity relationship model. When we go into the actual training, I will be explaining you what is an entity, what is a relation between entities, and what is an ER model. But for demo purpose, we will just say like, okay, on day-to-day basis, my data, I'm just having some flat files that is maintained as a CSV file or Excel file on my system, and I also maintain some whatever transaction that happens on a day-to-day basis, I upload to this database. And Indra, please stop me wherever in case if you're not able to follow or if you have some questions.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so this is my operational system. Now, target, what I'm planning is, what I need is, I might not really be interested to read data from database and flat file and to create a report. From an end user perspective, he doesn't really wants to connect to different databases, different file systems and create a messy report. Nobody will be lacking that. So end of the day, what will happen is, I need a database. Okay, I need one database, basically I should say like that. I need a single database which has enterprise data. Okay, just make note of the word enterprise data, which means that I need one single database where all the data of my business is consolidated and stored in one place, which is cleansed and transformed as well. So from this, once I have all the data in a proper way, all the meaningful data in a proper way, organized in one place, which we also say that a very common word which we use is single source of truth. So this is what we say it as single source of truth. I have only one data source which contains the information of my enterprise. My data is not scattered around different data sources in the target. I have only one. In BI terms, basically we have only in business warehouse, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can have this something, you can relate this to business warehouse. So end of the day, from here, I can start generating my reports. Okay, so I can start generating my reports. So I can have a standard reporting, which we call it as canned reports. For example, I need to, every month we receive our phone bill. That will be a classic example of this. So I just create my report, which is a static report, which is not used for analytical purposes. I'm not going to use that report for analytical purposes. It is just, I just need to generate a phone bill report and I need to give it to my customers. It is a static report or canned report, nothing to do with the analytics. Okay, so I can have one kind of reporting like this. I can have another type of reporting before going to analytical. I can have ad hoc reporting, which means that it is not going to be a static report. I have my data in the database. I know where my data is residing. From this, depending upon the requirement, I need to create my reports in an ad hoc manner. So tomorrow, if there is a new requirement, or if there is some query from my manager or from my customer head, or my customer relationship manager is trying to check with me, okay, I just need to see this sales information according to this cluster. I just need to have one more chart, something like ad hoc requirements. I need to quickly create a report, which is not static, which might change. Then that is called as ad hoc reporting. So this is another kind of reporting which we might be having in our scenarios. And next thing is what we have is self-serve reporting, which is a very new term which we are using now. For example, so till now these things are basically used by, might require an IT team. But now there's a very new term that is happening in the business intelligence area, which is named as self-serve, which is, look, I have my data in my, I know my data is there in one place. Okay, I really do not want to, I am a business people. I am a business analyst, or I am the manager of this business. I cannot really rely on the IT to create a report or change the report. I want myself to quickly create a report from whatever data. So that is called self-serve reporting. So we have a very good tool for this as well. Did you understand what is the difference between standard, ad hoc and self-serve till now?
Standard and ad hoc I got it, but self-serve I'm not clear.
Okay. Standard and ad hoc means, for example, what is a process that happens in BI? If you want one report, your business requires one report, what they do, they raise a gap process or they raise a change request, and the IT person develops this report, right?
Yeah.
Yes, because you need an IT person to create a report, or the reporting tool is not so user-friendly, or you might need to have some complicated models in between. But self-serve reporting is for intended target audiences like business users. Okay, assume like till now, not till now, like previously, the scenario is if I want to create a report, I need IT.
Yeah.
If I want to create a report, I need IT. But now the terms are changing. The technology is changing. Now we are getting into a new space. If I want to create a simple report or analytical report, is there a way where the business users itself can generate it or create it? I need a tool that is really so user-friendly that allows me to connect to my data sources and create report by myself. And who is myself? I am a business user.
Okay.
Or I am a business analyst. I may be a business analyst.
Okay.
Or I may be a business user. Or say, for example, I am the sales head of my particular business. And I really do not, I need a quick report. I want a report in a day or two. I can't really go and raise a request and wait till the IT team delivers me this report. For that, I need a tool that allows me to quickly create a report from this particular data source. That is called self-serve reporting. From the name itself, you can say, right, self-serve. Means I am a business user. I might not have really so much of knowledge about IT and all, but I need a tool that is so user-friendly that allows me to do all these things. And next thing is like that goes in pair with ad hoc reporting is analytical reporting. Means now I need a way that also comes here also. This will be a union because analytical comes with self-serve or ad hoc reporting. So now I need a report. Now I have a report. End of the day, what is the use of this report? I need to analyze. Say for example, for this quarter, my sales is down. Then I need to slice and dice between different dimensions. Okay, for this month, for particular region, the sales is down. Then I need to see really why the sales is down. I can't really go to the database. I can't really go to the Excel file. It takes time. So from this particular reporting tool, I need to find a way that is so user-friendly that allows me to slice and dice, which means that to drill down or drill up or to analyze across various dimensions. For example, sales for this quarter in a region is down. Then I need to see why. The next question is, what is the problem? So I need to, then I'll be analyzing, okay, what are the products that has not performed well in this quarter? Then I'll be going to that product. So I take a product which has not performed well. Now I need to see why this product has not performed well. Is it due to any climatic conditions, or is it because of the problem of the salesperson, or did we have any new salesperson in picture, or how this product is performing in other regions? Can you get the idea? Like it's a comparative analysis. For example, the normal analytical report. Say for example, in a region, my sales is down for Q2. Then I just see, sorry, my sales is down for Q2. Then I just see which region. I just go and see which region it is, which particular region it is down. Then if I go to the region, then I see which product it is down, which product is performing down. Then I try to compare this product, how it has performed in other regions, in other quarters. It is so that I make sure, is there a problem on the product or is there some other thing? Say for example, this product has performed very good in other regions. So this has not performed good, for example, in Chennai. For example, this has not performed good in Chennai, but it has performed nicely in Bangalore. So which means that there's no problem with the product. Sorry, there's no problem with the region. Then I go to the next level, which is product. Okay, so then I just see, okay, this product, why in Chennai it has not performed well? Maybe due to the climatic reasons or due to the salesperson. I just drill down in different dimensions. When I say dimensions, just for you to quickly understand, master data.
Yeah.
In BA, you call it as master data, right? So
Yeah.
that is what dimension. So I just try to see, I just get into the exact master data and transactional data to see what has happened for that particular key figure. So this is called an analytical report. So in short, why I'm trying to tell all these things is just to give an overall look about analytical reports. Okay, so we have this kind of report, we have this kind of report, and why I'm telling this kind of report, this kind of different names is, definitely there cannot be a single user who has all this requirement. I might be having 5 users for standard reporting. I might be having some 5 to 7 users, 10 to 12 users for ad hoc reporting. My end users will be different for each of these reportings, right? So which means that I should also clearly understand which tool in business objects is good for standard reporting, which tool in business objects is good for ad hoc reporting, which tool in business objects is good for self-serve, and which tool in business objects is good for analytical. Because you're coming from business SAP BI, you might have not seen certain data sourcing strategies, because if you're coming from an enterprise projects or if you're coming from a business warehouse projects, you might have not experienced one scenario, that is local data strategy. Okay, so which is like, I have my files, which is my local files, in different ways or in different systems. It is my local data, not a global data. So I might not be sending this to business warehouse, or I might not be sending this to enterprise database. This is my local data. I'll be storing it on my local databases or local Excel files. So how to create reports on top of this? What will be the strategy? For example, I have my 100 Excel files. I have 100 Excel files. I need to generate a report. I cannot go for a costly ETL tool. I will not be going for this. I won't be going to this because I don't have cost. But I have 100 Excel files. I need to create a report. And the data in this 100 Excel files is not global data. When I say global, any data that is being used by different business or different regions is global. When I say local, that is being used only by my region. For example, you have US, you have India, you have Germany. So if you are going to have a report that is being that data which is being used by all these 3 regions, then I can say that kind of data is global. But irrespective of that, each region might have its own local data also, right? Right?
Yes.
Yes or no? Yeah. So this is called local reporting. So for this data, they will not be from the business warehouse side. They will say, look, this is not global data. So I can't really create a multi-cube or info-cube or multi-provider or even DSO for each local. I can't do that. If I'm going to start to do that, then all regions will come and make my business warehouse messy. If I'm going to say enterprise data warehouse, they'll be also coming back and saying me the same thing. Then what will be the approach? I cannot go for a costly ETL. This is just my local data. So then how to create a report? So what will be the best strategy? So because why I'm trying to say this is I'm in a project where I'm working on this new scenarios. So we'll be also trying to see certain scenarios on this in case that will help if you're going to go for a project where you're having this scenario. Okay, coming back to the actual, let us jump back to our start of discussion, which is a data warehouse concepts. So now let me do one quick thing. So this is going to be something like this. I'm just trying to say. So this one, whatever I say, right, single database which has enterprise data. In technical terms, we call this as data warehouse. Okay, we call it as data warehouse. And even I can split this data warehouse into separate databases for each business, because in your organization you will be having finance, you will be having HR, you will be having sales, right? So you can have one database for finance, HR, sales department, or you can have separate database for finance, for HR, for sales. It all depends upon the requirements. So if I'm going to have a separate databases for finance, HR, sales, then I call it as a data mart. Okay. So again, this is going to be a single database that has enterprise data, but that is going to have only finance related data. And again, this is going to be a single database which has enterprise data, but it is going to be only HR related data. And this is again sales related data. If I'm going to have separate databases like this, then we call the term as data mart. There are certain organizations that implement this way, or they say, I don't have that requirement, I have just one that has enterprise data for all the departments, which I call it as data warehouse. Is that clear? The difference between data warehouse and data mart?
Yes, Avin.
Okay. So now let us come back to a very good component. This is just for information only, because we will not be seeing this tool in our, because this is an ETL tool, not a reporting tool. So now I need a layer between. So here I have only one database, or one which is a data warehouse or data mart, but here I have multiple files which might be in multiple formats. So this one will be coming basically. So I need a layer to consolidate first these two sources into one. I need a layer or tool that consolidates these two into one, and I need a layer after consolidating. I need also to do some kind of cleansing. Say for example, the data here is not clean. There can be data quality issues, which we call it technically data quality issues. So I need a layer that is used to clean the data. I need a layer for consolidating multiple data sources, and I need a layer after consolidating. I need to, before going to the next step, I will explain you this in the training, but just for the demo purpose, the model, the actual data model in this source system will be ER model, okay, which we call it as entity relationship model, which is of normalized structure. This will be slightly, I'm not sure whether if you are aware, it is okay. If you're not aware, this will be slightly over technical for demo, but just make note of the terms, and we can see in the training. Normalized structure. Because in transactional systems, the importance is data in. I'm doing some transactions. I need to make sure the data is stored quickly. I need to make sure the data is stored quickly on my data sources. So that is the business case for transaction system. The scope is not taking data out. The scope is putting data in the transaction system. So it is normalized structure. But if you see here, it is going to be dimensional modeling, which is a star schema. If I want to tell you in BA terms, info cube. You know what is an info cube, right? That has master data and your transactional data combined. So this is something like that.
Okay.
I need to do a dimensional modeling. So this we call it a star schema or something, which is more towards data out. So now for me, I need a model that supports me to quickly analyze the data, take the data out from the database and quickly analyze it. I need a model that supports that. Okay, so I want to transform the data from one structure to another structure. So for that I need a layer to do this transformation. So I need a layer to do the extraction. I need a layer to do all these things, clean, consolidate, transformation, and after this I need a layer finally to load this data into the enterprise database, which is basically loading. So this is by name, we say it as extraction, transformation, loading, which is ETL. And what we have in business objects for this is BODS. For this, we have a tool called BODS, which is really strong enough to do this. Currently, they have given support to even big data, which is unstructured data, just for information. Well, so this is how in general it happens. Before that, we can also, there might be also one more scenario. So now this layer, in this particular place, we'll be also having one more component called, in this place, we'll be having one more small database, which we call it a staging database. Okay. So what we do here is basically we take all the data we extract from this one, clean it and place it in this place. We extract the data from this, place it in this staging database. In the staging database, we do the cleansing, and after doing the cleansing, we load it into the target database. Is that clear, Indra? So here we have a database called staging database where we load all the data from multiple sources into this database, consolidating. After that we clean, we do whatever operations here, we cleanse whatever it is. After doing the cleansing, then we transform from this to this target database. This is one more thing which you might need to know. And next important component in a data, what I'm trying to say now is a data warehouse architecture basically.
Okay.
Okay. So you need to know on your source side, you will be having different source systems. On the target side, you can have a data warehouse or data mart. And middle, you have a middle layer which is ETL, some tool that does this extraction. And after extracting what all operations you might need to do, cleansing, consolidating, transformation. And why transformation? Because you are going to transform the data from one structure which is ER model to another structure which is dimensional model. And we have a small database sitting in ETL layer, staging database, that is used to consolidate the data from different databases and do the cleansing and transform and load it to the data warehouse. We also have one more component here, which we call it as operational data store. I believe this you call it as DSO in BI. ODS. Okay.
ODS. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, DSO. So here, this data warehouse, it contains history information. Okay. Which means that we can only load the data into this system. Maximum, we will not be changing any data. We will not be overwriting any data. Because this data warehouse is, the main use case of this is for analytical purpose. It is not for transactional purpose. So this data warehouse, whatever we have, basically we'll be taking the data and putting the data into this data warehouse. That's it. We will not be doing any changes to the actual data for, say, for example, today we are 2013. For 2012, we will not be changing any data into this warehouse. It contains history information, which is non-volatile. Okay, which is non-volatile. The data here doesn't changes. And there is one small additional thing to note here, but it will be too much if I'm going to say this. Still, we have something called slowly changing dimension. I can explain you in the training. Someone will ask, okay, look, by mistake I have loaded a data with a wrong spelling name. If I want to change, you are saying it is non-volatile. How do I change? So for that, we have a small concept called SAD, which is type 1, type 2, type 3. I'll take that slightly later. But now, that is the use case of this. But there might be a requirement in the organization. Good. So we have a ETL tool. Now all the data in my different data sources which are in different data formats are consolidated, cleansed at this particular point. Then if I'm having a clean, meaningful data, why shouldn't I use that data for my operational reporting? I'm not going to use that for my analytical reporting. But because now I have a clean data, I have a meaningful data which is cleansed across all the data sources, why can't I use this for my operational reporting? So here for that particular requirement we have something called ODS. So what will happen is after ETL, so after E and T, which is extraction and transformation, we can also load this here. Here it is volatile. It is a transactional one. So volatile. Okay, and it is mainly for transactional reporting. So from here the reports can be generated. So from here they will be generating mostly operational reporting. And there won't be no history maintained here. And there can be even scenarios where you load data from ODS to data warehouse. Any questions till now, Indra?
Will these BODS contains all these ODS and all? I heard like it's just a connection.
BODS is a tool. Is a tool.
Okay.
It's an ETL tool. Okay.
Okay.
BODS is a ETL tool that can extract data from different data sources.
Okay.
In general, what will happen is this, for simplicity, for understanding, I have kept here, but it won't be within ETL. So what will happen is this will go here. So they'll be basically what they'll be doing is in real-time scenarios. So what they do is like they just first load this into a staging database. Okay, so we have something called staging database. Oh God. So we load like this. From here, what this ETL, this is a tool. So from here, what BODS will do is there will be, you're right, there will be a connection that has been created in the BODS. We call it as data stores. So we'll be having a connection for this data source as source. And this will be target staging databases. But let us not really go much into ETL tool now.
Okay.
Because this we need to just understand from the warehouse perspective, architecture perspective. Okay, so from here, what BODS will do is from staging. Okay, so from your source systems, database to flag files, you need a tool that reads data from your database and flag file and to put into staging database, right? Because you need to load the data. So that has been done by BODS. And after that, from your staging database, now you need to apply your transformation, right? Because this is in ER model. You need to apply transformation. So BODS applies the transformation on the staging database. Okay. And after doing the transformation, you need to load this particular transformed data into ODS, right? BODS loads this transformed data into ODS. Okay. And after loading into ODS, again you need to load it finally to the data warehouse or data mart, right? So BODS will be loading that data from ODS to data warehouse or data mart. The scope of ETL tool is, it is a tool. It just does the extraction functionalities from different sources, transformations on some data source, loading to some data source. That is what the scope of an ETL tool.
Okay, fine.
Good. Good. So this is how in general what will happen on an enterprise data warehouse. So now we saw only one, till now BODS is what, if I quickly go back to my thing, this is BODS. Let me come back to the reporting tools. So if for standard reporting or canned reports, we usually use Crystal report, that is very good for that. Or we use Webby reporting. Okay, because Webby has still more functionalities, so usually we go for Webby. Unless for otherwise, if it is complex standard formattings, we go for Crystal report. Else, we just go for Webby. For ad hoc reporting, again we go for Webby. There is one very new tool in the market that is really getting so much heat, which is Lumira.
Okay.
SAP Lumira. Just for you to give a look, this is SAP Lumira. This is the tool where the entire market is picking, especially SAP customers. Especially SAP customers.
Okay.
Okay, and they are currently, SAP is really putting enormous effort on this tool Lumira. There is a monthly release. Currently we are on Lumira 13.
Okay.
There is a monthly release of Lumira. Till now they haven't done monthly release for any tools. But for Lumira they are putting enormous effort. Every month there is a release. And I can also say, I'll be happy to say that I was a person in my project to develop a use case document between Webby and Lumira. And what is there in Lumira and what should be there in Lumira, because we interact with SAP very closely. We give because end of the day what happens is we have our ClickView files, right? My project scope is I am having ClickView, and now I need to migrate this or everything to SAP BO, and I want to decommission ClickView because I cannot maintain multiple licenses, one for BO, one for ClickView, and my data source is mainly BW. So if my data source is BW, then better I'll maintain SAP BO rather than ClickView. So, but still there are many challenges converting ClickView to SAP BO, which we are facing many challenges, and then we had a lot of discussions with SAP before 6 months, and then finally we were in an understanding that okay, Lumira is going to be the tool. Okay. Hey, I really forgot one more important thing that is missing here: standard reporting, ad hoc reporting, self-serve, analytical. The most important thing is dashboard reporting. It's not a report, dashboards. That is which, right? Okay, so yeah, let me come back to before going that, because you know what's the dashboard, right?
Also a tool?
Yeah, ClickView is not in SAP. It is a different vendor. Okay, so it's but we are trying to replace that reporting solution into BO because it requires additional license, right? And when we come about self-serve reporting, the first thing what we are trying to target is Lumira. What SAP targets us. And because still Lumira is on the track of maturity, still it requires at least another 6 to 10 months to get full maturity. But still, even by now itself, there is a lot of talks and many customers have started using Lumira, but there are some limitations. Especially when we speak about enterprise and all, there are many limitations. Which, like example, you cannot publish your Lumira document on BI Launchpad. And by now, I should be safely saying that you know what is BI Launchpad, right? Which is BO web portal. So still Lumira document is not integrated with BI Launchpad, and the timeline to do this by SAP, what they have given tentative is Q2 of next year. So till then, what that means to me is I cannot use Lumira for my enterprise reporting. So yeah, so but still that is going to be the tool. And next thing is Webby for self-serve. If I'm going to speak about dashboard, we have dashboard tool itself, but now again SAP is concentrating more on another new tool which is also getting more heated up in the market, which is like Design Studio. I'm not sure whether you have heard about this, but yeah, for ages we are using only dashboard tool, but now SAP is basically has come with Design Studio. Currently, till Design Studio 1.1 version, it can connect only to BW sources. Apart from BW, it cannot connect to any relational sources. Now we are in 1.2. Now it has given support to connect to relational sources. But again, as I was saying, Lumira, the next focus of SAP is Design Studio, and unofficially I would say like dashboard tool might not be there after 3 years, because Design Studio might take it, because you have many limitation on dashboard. I wouldn't say it as limitation, but the way users are consuming it makes it a limitation. Because for me, by business term, a dashboard, what it means to me is to just give me an eye-level information presented in a good visualization. For me, a dashboard is very simple. I need to have a very good visualizations that contains eye-level aggregated summary data. That is a dashboard, which means that the volume of data should be less because it's a summary data. It's an aggregated data. But our business or many users takes that as, okay, I have a dashboard. I'm a transactional data, which is even going to, the granularity goes to day level data. They try to take all that big volume of data into dashboard tool, which there will be a limitation. Dashboard tool is not good for handling large volume of data, but Design Studio is able to do that. Anyways, by name, Design Studio itself is a separate tool. We will not be covering that in our module because it is altogether a different separate one. But even though Lumira is not there in our course content, I'll be taking that because now personally I feel any course or any training on SAP BO without Lumira will not make sense. If you're not going to put Lumira on your profile, it will not really add spice to your profile.
Okay, and is Design Studio also integrated into BO now? Or
Yeah, Design Studio documents you can put it into BI Launchpad.
Okay.
Design Studio you can integrate into BI Launchpad, but still when I come to the training I can tell because I'm also responsible to prepare and present to the users for one activity, which is this, selecting the right tool for business requirement. Because like business users always comes and says to me, look man, I have 10 tools, which one I should go? So I am the key person who is also involved in this activity, selecting the right tool for business requirement, which means that I should understand which tool is good in functionality, which tool is good in sharing, securing, publishing, which tool is good in user-friendly. When I speak about user-friendly, dashboard tool is very good compared to Design Studio. Design Studio is currently, as it is now, as we are in 1.2, still I would say that will be a tool more for IT people. It is really not so user-friendly like dashboard tool or Webby or Lumira. But it is good in producing a dashboard, but you need an IT person. You cannot expect a business user to create Design Studio. It will be really tough. But I can ask my business user to create an ad hoc report in Webby. Possible. I can ask my business user to create an ad hoc report in Lumira. Possible. Because we are doing that. Our project is basically we train the business users and we then support them for 2 to 3 months. We select one ClickView report. We make them to convert that to a business objects report, whereby we sit with them on end-to-end process. And that flow is totally different. That will not have this, like we do not have a ETL, we do not have a single database, very challenging environments. Okay, so let us come back to the discussion. So this dashboard tool and Design Studio, what else? So Lumira I covered. Okay, so this is how broadly I can say where business objects will sit into data warehousing environment, and in business objects where different tools sits. We have a very important layer.
Semantic layer, right?
Sorry?
Semantic layer, right?
Exactly. I will be explaining clearly in our training what is a business case of semantic layer. Trust me, why? Because my business user always asks me, look, I have one Excel file, man, why should I create semantic layer? Right? So yeah, but for now, because in the interest of our time, really we are slightly running out of time, but yeah, we also have one semantic layer which is called universe. Basically, I can just give you a simple definition. This universe, what happens is if I want my end user to create a report, right? End user, not an IT, if I want my end user to create a report, it doesn't really make sense for me, for the end user to understand the database structure. Like, okay, this table, customer table. What is a relationship between the customer table and sales table? What is a field that is joining? What is a join field? Means what is a column?
Yeah.
that is used to join these two tables. Why end user needs to know this, right? Do you expect end user to know which column is used to join customer table and sales transaction table? No.
No.
It doesn't. For him, it doesn't really make sense. He doesn't really need to understand the database structure. There is no need for him to understand the database structure. For him, we just give him a layer of objects, and from that layer of objects he can just drag and drop, create his reports. That will make the end user happy. Instead, okay, this is my model, you go, you need to understand what is a column that is used to join these two tables, then you will forget, you will go for Excel itself. So for that we have a layer called universe where we design our model here. By right, by theoretical, by definition, and universe is defined as a semantic layer, which is a business oriented mapping of data structures that is found on your data source. When I mean data structure, customer table, sales transaction table, all this is data structure. So I can have 100 tables on my, again look, I can have 100 tables, 100 master data or dimension table on my data warehouse. I can have 50 transaction tables, but my reporting model requires everything? Not really, it might not require everything. So this universe will be, it's a very important component. We need to analyze what is our reporting model. According to the reporting model, reporting requirements, we pull in only the required master data and the transaction tables here. We establish the relationship between all these tables and we give a single layer, which is called a business layer, which contains just the name of the field. For example, in this business layer, I just say, okay, customer name, sales KPI. So if my end user is going to drag and drop this too, he will get the information. There is no need for him to see all these things. This is only one of the use case. Another use case is if I'm going to have some 30 reports that is going to use the same model. Do I expect my end user to redevelop the same code 30 times? No. Instead, I have the model here. If the model is same, I can reuse the same model for 30 reports. So that whereby I say reusability. And the third important case is security. Currently in SAP Business Objects, data level security, not folder level security, data level security, which means that I have user 1 who can see only cost center 100. I have user 2, you can see only cost center 200. I have user 10 who can see all cost center. This is called data level security. This kind of data level security can be implemented only in universe. Of course, folder level or object level security is different. Which user can see which report? That is object level security. And in this report, which user can see which data in this report is data level security. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this particular thing will be implemented in semantic layer. Okay. Coming back, so now I have my sources, I have my all these things, and finally I have created my report. So now what will be the final part? I spoke something here about security, data level security, security level security. I spoke something related to creation of reports, which tools, and universe. And finally, what will be there? End of the day, I have my report. How do I share this report to the user? Right?
Yeah.
So how do I share this report to the user? For example, you might have a requirement. Every day morning, I want this report to come and sit into my Outlook inbox, or I want this report to be sitting on the BA Launchpad itself. I will not be going and refreshing. Every day morning, I want this to be happening. So for that, you have an option called scheduling. There's a feature where you can schedule and basically even distribute. We have a very powerful mechanism, distribution mechanism, whereby every day, currently I can say a scenario, there was a report called phone bill report. So basically we have created a scheduling and publications whereby every month it runs and distributes 1,000 different copies to 1,000 users mailbox automatically. No manual work. Only one-time activity. After that, now it is delivering beautifully. So this is what something I will be giving you some heads up to you, like how to schedule, how to distribute, and what else? Did I miss anything? So now if you see this, it will make some sense to you. And you have something called analysis for office and analysis for office and analysis for OLAP. This is again two tools that is used only to connect to BW data source. And we have something called Explorer, exploration functionalities. And we might not be releasing much to that because we also don't use much. It has slightly performance issues, and the target is SAP Lumira will be also taking care of that, Explorer. Moving back to the next thing, what will be the highlights of the training? As I was telling to you, oh yeah, most important thing, you will be also getting a fair knowledge, like if you're facing some performance issues, how to debug it, from where to start, how to end, how to address that particular issue. Okay, so understand the architecture of SAP business objects, like I'll be trying to explain you the landscape, how it can be. Scenario based training, as you might have seen this demo, it will not be like simple going through some PDF or going through some whatever it is, video tutorial that you can do manually. You might not be, there is no need for you to attend the training, but it's not going to be that. It's a scenario based training. Like from this itself you would have got some little bit use cases, and end-to-end knowledge from reporting solution, data warehouse, concept, strategy, design, modeling, implementing security, sharing, and when to go for publication, scheduling, performance tuning, and a little bit administrative activities. And finally you'll be getting I really do not see a separate topic called interview preparation, because whenever I go through each topic, I'll be telling you various scenarios that should be more than interview preparation, but still for Word I just placed it there. And supporting materials for Webby, for IDT, for dashboard. I'm not sure whether, okay, at least I can give you some introduction on dashboard tool, because you need to at least have that on your profile, even though it might go off after 3 years. Yeah, but for dashboard, for Webby, for IDT, you'll be getting a very good material that also has lab exercises step by step, including screenshots. Okay, and what else? Yeah, now the ball is to you. Any questions?
And I heard a tool with name Voyager. What is that actually?
It's all not in use now. It's all like Explorer. Explorer has replaced Voyager, and Explorer, whatever it has replaced Voyager, there was a good understanding on Explorer, but still we are facing some performance issues on Explorer, which everybody is aware. So the scope is like soon Lumira will be replacing that. I shouldn't use the word replace, but Explorer functionalities will be coming in Lumira as well. But for your question, Voyager is the legacy application that was used before 4.0 that has been replaced by a tool called Explorer, SAP Explorer in 4.0. And again, Explorer, we really do not use if your data volume is huge, because we are seeing performance issues. But if, say, for example, you have a very simple Excel file, you need to do some explorations, then you can go for Explorer. And again, Explorer is not a client tool. It is available in the BI Launchpad itself.
Okay.
And the next thing is, okay, I need to also tell you what is the client tools and what are available in BI Launchpad, but that will be too much on the demo. But for your question, Explorer is available on the BI Launchpad. And the vision of SAP is to basically bring this exploration facilities on Lumira itself. So Lumira, as I was saying, it will be mostly used for ad hoc reporting, self-serve reporting, and from 13, we have a concept called creating dashboards, simple dashboards in Lumira itself. Before that, we didn't have a storyboard concepts and all, but from 13 we have the storyboards whereby you can create a dashboard also, a simple dashboard also in Lumira. And what else I missed? Exploration. So you will be seeing Lumira for multiple purposes. And most, yeah, that is what basically is.
Okay. And I have got a mail saying like if I need access for BO, even after the training, the trainer will be installing the BO in your system, in the system.
We can install business objects on your system. That should be okay. It is a straightforward installation. Okay. And what you will be getting business objects installation is basically, I'm not sure which what mail it is and what the content is, because without that I cannot comment.
I was asking for the server access even after the training purposes for practice.
Okay, let me put it in this way. For server access, I will not be the correct person to comment anything because, okay, from the Attain Technologies, are you there still?
Means?
No, not to you, Indra. From Attain Technologies, Radha or someone, or are you there on the call? I think they are not on the call. That's okay. But yeah, someone from Attain Technologies, the server access will be given to you by Attain Technologies.
Yeah.
But after that, if you need it, we have, I'm not sure whether you have the software or not. That I think we can check with Attain Technologies whether they'll be giving you the client software. If they give the client software, you can install the client on your local machine itself. Okay, but instead what I would say is, like, I'm not sure whether it will work for you or not because you're asking. I'm just saying we also have an hard disk in Hyderabad or so many places where they have everything in that hard disk, starting from SAP BW, BODS, BO, everything in that hard disk. A complete package. But like, frankly speaking, I haven't explored, but one of my friend has got that hard disk that contains entire suite. But for your question, if you want to install on your machine, yes, we can install client tools on your machine, whereby you'll be getting IDT, which is universe. You can create universe on your machine, practice that. You can practice Lumira. There is no need for you to go to anyone to ask for Lumira because it is a free trial version available. I can share you the link.